Hi, everybody. I'm Diana Palm. Welcome to this episode where we're going to talk all about ghosts. We're going to talk about ghosts. We're going to talk about hauntings. We're going to talk about those orbs you get in your photos. We're going to talk about the darker things as well and how you can protect yourself from dark energies, demons, or any kind of attachments. I want to welcome you here today. It's actually Halloween, one of my very, very favorite times of year where the veil is so thin. And if you're sensitive to spirit, you're probably already experiencing so many supernatural things that I want to clear up for you today in this episode. So, first of all, welcome. I am going to turn on the live chat so you guys can put your questions right in there for me. So, for those of you who don't actually know me, my name is Diana Palm. I'm a medium and spiritual healer, which means that I not only connect with the spirit world, but I also am deeply passionate about crossing over ghosts, clearing hauntings, and sending those dark demons back to where they came from so that they leave you alone. That's been my life work. In fact, I first learned how to do that in 1995 when I visited Bosnia with a spiritual priest who gave me these gifts and abilities, or rather, who brought them out in me, who taught me how to use them. Over the years, of course, I developed more into mediumship, went to Arthur Findlay College in England, really developed and honed in on my expertise working as a psychic medium, healer, and you know how it goes. If you're into the healing arts, you probably have a ton of different certifications. And that's what I've done because this has been my life path. So I'm very, very passionate about bringing healing to the spirit world, because the direct result is not only does it help that soul that's been lost and trapped, but it also helps the bereaved. Because when you have loved ones that have not crossed over, it actually weighs very heavily with the spiritual energy of the living loved ones. So it's kind of a huge bonus to be able to help somebody who's trapped in spirit, help them cross over, and then bring healing to the bereaved, because that's how they heal and can really lift their energy of grief. It's a very, very important component. So, oops, I'm going to see. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's see. There we go. I had it on private chat. There we go. I'll get my comments working here one way or another. Okay, so I'm just going to start. I've already collected many questions from you, so I'm going to start here. But when you log on and have questions, please post them right away. Just type them right in here, and I will be able to see you. Okay, I think I've got that correct now. All right. So, what is a ghost and what is a spirit? Many people get those two backwards or kind of confused because we hear the term earthbound spirit. Well, an earthbound spirit is a spirit that's stuck on the earth plane, which traditionally is a ghost. A spirit typically implies that that soul has crossed over and gone to the light, and they're simply coming back to visit. Now, these are welcome visits because these are your loved ones. These are the people that you love so much in life. And after they die, they go into the light and they can come back and visit you. Getting a sign or a symbol from your loved one in the afterlife is a blessing, and it's a healing, and it is good for both sides. It's good for them and it's good for you. I always tell people that when a spirit visits you, a loved one in spirit visits you, you don't have to worry, because most people will send me these messages like, what if I'm hogging up all their time? You know, what if they're supposed to be visiting somebody else in the family and I keep calling them to be with me? I want to let you know that that's totally okay. Once your loved one is in spirit and has been healed and gone into the light, they get all their spiritual abilities back, which means they can be with all the loved ones at the same time. So they're not contained in one physical vessel anymore. So don't ever worry about that. If you want to visit your loved one, talk with them, call them into you. They can visit you in dreams. They can give you apparitions. They can give you just tons of signs and symbols that they're around you, and you are not hogging them. There's plenty of them to go around if they're healed. Hi there. I'm so oh, good. You're getting lots of signs and symbols. Hi, Bethany. That's wonderful. I love that. There's nothing more heartwarming. And this is a special time of year because one of my best friends died right around this time of year. So it was always a special time of year for me, but even more so these days because I always feel his energy come. So he kind of accompanies Halloween and All Saints Day and All Souls Day and kind of rides out the season with me. And it's wonderful because I get lots and lots of signs and symbols, and I can feel him. I can feel his presence. So, now, what is the difference then if you're talking about a ghost? A ghost is a soul that has left the physical body at death, just like we all do, but decided for whatever reason not to go to the light. And I did say that correctly. It is free will. God does not stand at the gate and refuse people. So when you die, if you have in your heart to go to heaven and you've either lived a clean life or you forgave people and you've cleared resentments and you have no regrets, you're going to sail right through those pearly gates. You're going to go right into the other side and continue with your spiritual journey. But we have free will. So it's possible for spirits to not cross over. And once they've made that decision, there's a certain number of days that they have to make it. And then the window to the other side literally closes and they get stuck in the magnetic grid on Earth. At this point, they are not able to get to the light on their own. And that's why sometimes when people don't know this, different psychics or people that aren't used to working with the spirit world, they'll continually tell a ghost, go to the other side, cross over, and they'll tell them that over and over. And the simple truth is they can't. They're stuck, like magnetized and attached to the location that they're at when that window closes. Many times this could be where they died. It could also be a funeral home, the cemetery, the church, any of those places that are frequented right after they pass. It could also be somewhere that they really felt passionate about while they were living. They can return there and then get stuck there. So you want to know that and know that those spirits that are stuck are actually ghosts. That's how the differentiation. Also, if you see a ghost, they are not going to be concerned about giving you love. They're going to be concerned about what you can give to them. They're going to want some attention. They're going to want to tell you their story. And unfortunately, they also drain energy from the living. And this is why when you have a lot of ghost activity, you can feel trouble breathing. You can have a lot of sinus infections, especially young children will end up with the sinus infections, ear infections, throat infections, because they're being drained. It's like running a cold or a fever all the time, a low-grade fever. So that can actually have a negative effect on the living. So living in a haunted house, while it sounds exciting, it really is not good for you. And it's not good for the soul that's trapped or the living loved ones of that ghost. So that's why it's so important to cross over, and anybody can learn how to do it. I actually talk about it and I give clear instructions in my book called Setting Spirits Free, which my little helper is holding for you here. So you can look at that up on Amazon. Setting Spirits Free will lead you through, help you discern the difference between a ghost, spirit, a demon, and give you the actual technique to be able to cross them over. It's really important work. A lot of people actually find that that's a true calling of theirs, that they're deeply passionate about the dead, about the spirit world, and they want to bring healing there. And they know already that the extent of that healing is huge. It's very huge. Again, not only does it help that spirit, it helps the living loved ones, which then raises the vibration on Earth. So it really is an immense healing when even just one spirit crosses over. So yeah, so even though I say I just did it, I use that word interchangeably, but a ghost is stuck, a spirit is not. Okay. I would love to know, by the way, let me know in the comments if you have encountered a ghost or if you think your house is haunted. Let me know. Just give me a little message there. Okay, so um, how to know if your deceased loved one is visiting. Your deceased loved one is going to emanate a sort of light from within, where a ghost will actually be kind of gray tones. They'll be very dim in color because they don't have their own energy or soul light. Once your loved one has crossed over and they've gone to the light and they come back to visit you, they're just beaming and they emanate a beautiful light, and they don't take your energy. They give energy. They're there to help you heal and comfort you. So if you see an apparition, that's how to tell the immediate difference. Now, another thing with loved ones that come to visit you, oftentimes they just come back because number one, they want you to know that they're okay. And also, they want to check on you to make sure that you're okay because they worry about us. They worry about us when we grieve. They can feel our energy, it pulls on them. And they want to come down and give us signs and symbols to uplift us and reconnect us and let us know that they really haven't gone anywhere. They've simply changed vibration. They're still with us here on earth. So, like I said, they go up, they heal, they come back down, they visit, and they give you love and assistance. In fact, you can ask your loved one on the other side for help with anything, and you'll often get a lot of different confirmations that they're there in your life working behind the scenes to help your dreams be fulfilled. So that's pretty incredible. And there's nothing wrong with just asking them to give you a sign or even to tell them something specific. Like, if you have a practical joke or a special number or a special animal, you can ask for that as a sign. And then when it shows up and you see it, you'll know that that's your loved one who sent it. A couple tools that if you're not a medium, if you don't have any experience tuning in with the spirit world, one of the things I like to teach people is a very, very simple energy experiment where you would just rub your hands like this, get the heat going, and then go like this, and you can feel the energy between your hands. Okay. Now that's just an energy ball that you just created. Basically, this is what a spirit feels like, or even a ghost. This is spiritual energy. It's energy, period. So whether you're physical or in the spiritual realm, this is what you will feel when they touch you. It is possible to have physical touch, but most of us will feel energy that way. So once you learn to feel what that feels like, you'll be more aware. It's a very subtle feeling. I did have a very physical touch when my grandmother passed away. My grandfather had died previously, and I went to her funeral. She remarried late in life, about 90 years old. She remarried, and I was looking at the coffin during her eulogy, expecting to see her ghost or her spirit. And instead, I felt a hand on my shoulder, but it wasn't her hand. It was my grandfather's hand, who had died much earlier. And it was a very clear feeling and a knowing that it was him. So I want you to pay attention to that as well. When somebody touches you, there's a literal energy signature, energy imprint. It's very unique to your loved one. So I knew in an instant, as soon as I felt it, that it was my grandfather. And then I felt my grandma's hand upon his. So they were both standing behind me with their hands together. And I just burst out crying because I thought how sweet. And of course he would come to get her. Of course, they spent their whole life together and he loved her. But it wasn't on the forefront of my mind because she had remarried. So I love that too, because there's no jealousy in heaven. We all come for each other. If you have loved somebody and been with somebody in this life, they will be there for you. We're always connected. And yes, they want you to move on and be happy, and they do want you to fall in love. And there's no worries about that. You're not replacing them. You're just moving forward. And in the end, it cycles around and we're all together again. So don't ever hold yourself back from love because your partner died. They truly, truly want you to move forward. Hi there. It's nice to see you. Let's see. You had a dream that your mom and brother showed up. Here, I'll put this on the screen. There we go. She wasn't smiling, didn't even talk to me. They were both in the light. Okay. Hey, if they're both in the light, don't worry about it. I don't know if that was her personality. Oftentimes, they will maintain their personality just so that we can recognize them. You know, a lot of times, if somebody was really grumpy, when we see them in spirit, they won't be just all smiles because we'd be like, "Who are you?" You know, we wouldn't really recognize them because it doesn't fit. So that could be. And, you know, it's really weird. They don't have to have that personality, but they kind of try to keep some traits in common that to help us recognize them. So let's see if that fits for you or not. Okay. Whew, my light is warm. Uh, how can you invite or embrace a visit from a loved one and begin to talk to the dead yourself? I love this. So many people are afraid of, let's say, Ouija boards or spirit communication. And the only reason why it's taught that it's not good to do or that it could be dangerous is because many people do this with the wrong intention. So when people attempt spirit communication when they're drunk or when they're high or they're just seeking excitement or they're kind of just opening it up to everybody in the universe, that's where it gets dangerous. So you do want to have a clear intention. Like, I want to connect with this specific person. This is who I'm open to connecting with. Then they can kind of reach your intention reaches them in the vibration that they're at. It makes it a real clear way for you to connect with them and have communication with them. Like I said, you can ask them for specific signs and symbols or a dream visit or just a knowing or even a feeling. If you want them to touch you, you can certainly ask for that and you'll know when that happens. Now, a couple tools that I like to recommend people use. You can use this in so many different ways. It's just a simple pendulum. This is one of mine. I've used it for teaching for years and it works with all of my students. Normally, a pendulum will be kind of specific and just work with the user and not everybody else. But if you are sharing it as a teacher, make sure you clear it off in between students or at the end of class. So anyways, just let your own tools, your spiritual tools, get attuned to your energy. You can clear them off with sage. You can set them out in the moonlight, put them in a dish of sea salt to help clear the energy. Or if you know how to get your connection, you can simply command it and witness it and watch the energy be cleared. So there's no wrong way to do that. But you can use this and you can actually just hold it over your hand. So if I demonstrate this and I'll just say, show me yes. I'm just holding the ball at the top, asking it to show me yes, and it moves. Okay. Now for me, yes is always clockwise circles and it's doing that. Okay. Show me no. And there it goes. It starts to move backwards again right away. So you have your yes and your no. Then once you have established what your yes and your no is, then you can actually use this and you can actually ask you can ask if your loved ones are with you. So I'll ask, do I have loved ones with me right now? Yes. Do I have do I have 1 to 5 loved ones in spirit with me? Yes, I do. Do I have 5 to 10 loved ones in spirit with me? Yes. I mean, that's because I'm a medium. You may have a few with you. I tend to carry a lot of spiritual energies with me just because that's my work and I'm closely attuned with them. So whatever number is, it's typical to have a few with you plus your spirit guides and angels. We have a huge spiritual team. Loved ones specifically, we tend to have lesser, maybe 3 or 4. Even though we may have many more loved ones in spirit, the ones that stay with us, more like spiritual guardians, those are going to be souls that have a soul contract with us, and they'll be with you a lot. So you can always check, and you can ask specifically, like, my father's with me in spirit. Okay, yeah. Yes, he is. And I kind of knew that. But that's how you can check. So once you get your yes and no, and you trust your answers, they're consistent, you can actually use this device. Very, very simple. You can get these at any metaphysical store. You can even buy them on Amazon. You'll know if it's meant for you. I've actually purchased pendulums before and they haven't worked for me. What I mean by that is they would just dangle like this without moving. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's really weird. It was pretty. I was attracted to it, but it doesn't work with my energy. I just set it aside. And wouldn't you know, somebody would come to my house and ask for a pendulum. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. See if it works for you. And it would. So sometimes that's the way spirit works too. Sometimes I end up buying things for people to do their spiritual work. So pay attention to that. Oh, I love all of your comments, you guys. Thank you so much. Alexandra, there we go. Thank you for your knowledge and insight. My mom passed on my husband's birthday and my dad on mine. Oh, what kind of meaning could that have? That actually has a lot of meaning. Alexandra, when somebody dies, I mean, we have specific dates. Like I was talking in the beginning about one of my loved ones. He died nearly 20 years ago, but the timing of his death was kind of my season. It's Halloween season. So him having, his birthday and death day were within the same week, and then there was Halloween. So there's this whole length of time that's extra special for me. So your loved ones have what we call death doors, and you have them too. A death door is a time that you pre-selected, you predetermined to go. And we know these things ahead of time. Okay. So on the other side, there's not really time like we know it in the physical realm. So before you even come here, you're kind of getting together with all the souls that you're going to be interweaving your life with. And you're selecting your timing of significant events. And, it could be a anniversary or something special in the family or graduation, anything. And then you also select opportunities to go home. Those are called death doors. And you may have 6 different death doors. And on a soul level, not on a conscious level, you're not aware of it. Like your personality doesn't go, oh, I'm dying next week. Although sometimes people get premonitions because they have a sensitivity to their door. So normally it hits us by surprise, or we hear we get a disease and we fight it so hard and we still go at that designated time. It's always in divine time that that person went. So when you have somebody that passes at a specific time that's meaningful for you, so you have a double date, that's a really amazing day that you will have extra spiritual support. So whatever else, when that date comes around, you'll know the significance of it, that it's a double date. And those are really powerful days to have an intention, a clear intention with your loved one. I celebrate my loved ones' birthdays still. I sometimes celebrate their death days as well. And I'll maybe just light instead of a full birthday cake, I'll just get one cupcake and have a meaningful moment, or a flower, or maybe I let go of the flower in the river, or I, do something with rocks or something outside. But I'm mindful of those dates because those are significant. Everybody that's close to you that has interwoven their life with you, they're going to have meaningful dates alongside yours. And if they double up on yours, on your other dates, and that's a window where it's easier for you to connect with them because it's a doorway to them energetically. So look at it that way and ask for their love and support on those days, and know that their spirit is closer to you when you're experiencing other things that share that date. Okay, so we got some more comments here. Let's see, we've got Suzanne. What is moving that for you at this time? Oh, just energy. Some people think that it's spirits moving it, but it's really not. I remember seeing Deepak Chopra went on Oprah Winfrey like in the 80s, and he did a pendulum show. It was great. And he explained how quantum physics works. So as soon as you put the intention, it just goes. And another tool that you can use is the dowsing rods. And Albert Einstein used both. So nobody really knows exactly, but it's about intention, and it's about us being interconnected with everything around us, even our environment. So when you have a clear intention, you can actually use tools like this for things, and you don't have to know the answer. You're not pushing the answer. You're just holding it and watching what happens. So dowsing rods, these are some dowsing rods that I recently picked up. I've always had some, but I lost some in my move a few years ago. So I just picked up another pair. Now, when I'm using dowsing rods, let's say I want to find the most beneficial place to meditate. So I'm looking for a high vibrational location in my home. I would actually hold them steady and then ask to be shown the highest vibrational location in my home. And so that way, I guess. So what I would do is start walking in that direction. And when they turn again, okay, so then I'm going to go in that direction. It's turning me way over to that corner. You can use it also for like if you have spiritual activity, if you think there's a ghost in your home, or you think it's haunted, you can actually ask for where the spirit is or the ghost. And so my signal is like this when they cross. Okay, so when they cross, that's when I run into the spiritual energy. Some people have theirs go all the way to the outside for when they run into a spirit. So you have to know your own symbols. So you can ask them, what is let's get it balanced. What is my symbol for when I run into a spirit? Okay. And for mine, it is actually when they cross. So you can pick these up for this set I think I got for $20, and these are really nice. And you can use devices like this even if you go paranormal investigating. I used to stand in the parking lot and get my connection and do all my protection stuff before entering the property. And then I would either muscle test for how many spirits were in the home and how many ghosts needed to be crossed over, or I could use a pendulum or dowsing rods. So tools are really helpful in working with the spirit world, especially as you learn to trust yourself. You may get a hit, you may know things, and then if you use tools, it can actually help to clarify and give you more support to know that you're right and that your intuition is growing stronger and that your clarity is there. So yeah, don't be afraid of using tools. But if you do use something like these on a haunted investigation or anything like that, again, we're going to want to clear these. Because of the size, we're not going to put these in a salt bowl. We'll probably put sage around them or connect and witness the energy be cleared. So however you have become comfortable clearing things. But we don't want to use a device, any type of device. It could be a spirit box, a recorder, pendulum, dowsing rods. You don't want to use that in a haunted environment, bring it home, and then use the same device in another haunted environment without clearing it. So when you leave, you should not only clear yourself spiritually, but clear anything you bring with us. This is so important. I once had a friend who had recorded some demonic voices coming out of her husband. And we listened to the tape recorder and we all agreed. There's a group of us healers that were like, oh, yeah, that's definitely, he has someone speaking through him. Okay. So we got our connection, we cleared him. And after everything felt really good, she began to play the tape recorder again because it was exciting. It was, interesting and unusual, so she continued to play it. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, stop, do not play anything like that after a clearing. So she was like, what do you mean? And I told her, you cannot listen to evidence of a haunting after it's been cleared because you'll recontaminate it. So she quickly turned it off, and immediately the tape recorder started turning itself on again by itself. You're right. And we're turning off, the button's going down. It was an old fashioned tape recorder. The button's going down, off, but it's still playing. And we're like, oh no, now we have to do another clearing. now that entity is attached to the tape recorder and the tape. So we had to clear those. That time we got rid of the tape completely and we cleared the tape recorder. So just know that that's a connection to the spirit world, and you want to clear your devices. Keep anything that you use spiritually, keep it protected. Those are your sacred items. They should be kept somewhere secure so other people aren't just touching them. Sometimes you can wrap them with a special cloth like made of silk or other natural fibers. You can put them in the keepsake box. Those are good places. Most people keep all their spiritual tools together. You can keep it with your crystals and stuff like that, but always clear them in between uses so that they stay pure for you and they don't accidentally recontaminate a new location. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Okay. Your mom hangs out in your kitchen? I love it. Okay, good. Maybe you can get her to make some dinner from time to time. Okay, let's see here. Hi, Heidi. Okay, so hi, Diana. I'm a psychic medium. I work with Mary. Oh, Mary. Oh, please tell Mary I said hello. Oh, she's been your mentor for 5 years. I work with ghosts and I do house clearing. Yep. Ah, yes. I'm so happy to hear that, Heidi. Please say hi to Mary. I just love her. I adore her. We had several opportunities to work together in hosting events and doing healing work, and she's just an amazing person. So very, very good teacher. That's wonderful. Okay. My dad's at the horse track. Yeah, probably. Yes. So if that's, something that he loved to do, that would be a place that he'd probably return and stay, or visit frequently. Yeah, we do have those kind of tendencies. Okay. Yes, actually, Suzanne. So I did define spirit in the beginning. A ghost is going to be a wayward, someone stuck in a location that has lost spiritual abilities. They drain the environment, they attach to the living. They cannot move on. They cannot go to the light on their own. They need a healer to help them. Whereas a spirit is someone that's gone to the light and come back and visits or stays beside you as a guardian, but they have already been healed. And so they'll actually have their own light and their spiritual abilities, and they can be with multiple people at the same time. They can move in and out. They can visit you in dreams. They can do many things to help you from the afterlife. So spirits are mostly going to be your loved ones that come around. Sometimes ancestors that you've never met could be assigned to you as a spirit guardian, and they may help you with so many things in life. So that's the primary difference. And again, this little fellow has my book, Setting Spirits Free. That will break it down for you in a really clear way, as well as giving you the actual technique to be able to cross over ghosts. So it's on Amazon. I just had it reprinted. It was first published in 2013. By Llewellyn, and I just got the rights back and republished it on Amazon. So if you look for that book and you find 2 versions, it's the exact same content. It's just going to be less expensive on Amazon in the 2nd edition. Okay. Okay, so ready. Oh, yep. Let's see. Okay, you're welcome. All right. So I'm going to continue on then. All righty. So something else you should note. Okay. So this is a sensitive topic. Now our loved ones, we've had increased suicides in the past number of years. I think it really started multiplying right before COVID, actually. It was like 2019 when the numbers had just increased drastically. And then through COVID, of course, we had a lot of loss and a lot more suicides, and that number continues to skyrocket. So when somebody kills themselves, it's not a punishment by God, but they do need your help. They do need help crossing over. So if you look back at your family, your friend group, you will probably have a number of people that will need your help. So again, I strongly urge you, if you have any sort of calling at all, if you have compassionate for trapped souls, please learn the technique. Please do help them. Of course, you can always set up a private session with me, but my platform is all about teaching you guys to empower you so that you can use your spiritual gifts and continue to help one another. So I strongly advise that you kind of make a checklist of all the souls around you that you know and love that probably need your help. Again, it's not like God refuses them. I know some religions teach that. There are other religions or cultures, like the Japanese culture doesn't think it's a big deal. But what truly happens spiritually doesn't matter what background they have. Spiritually speaking, when you take your life, you have ended your contract too soon. That is not a natural death door. Okay, so when we do, we actually go to a different place. So the Catholics call it purgatory. I've actually seen this place because I do a lot of soul retrieval, and it's they're not advancing, so they're not necessarily stuck in the environment, although they can be, but they definitely need your help. So we definitely want to send a lot of healing to those that have lost their life through suicide. And then that will also help the family, the bereaved, to bring a piece back to them for healing. So that's really important work. So we want to know the difference. Many people, that's the first question that the bereaved asked is my loved one okay? And really that's what they want to know. Are they in heaven, or are they suffering? Are they in pain? So one of the ways that you can actually tell is right away, within a couple weeks. I would give it a couple weeks after the passing. If you start to have a lot of disturbances in your home, knocking on the doors or walls, lights flickering on and off, and it seems kind of distressful, I would say that's a loved one that's trapped. Now, a loved one in spirit can also, work with your electronics and make funny things happen, but it won't have the same type of feeling around it. It will not feel distressing. It will feel more playful. And that's when they've gone to the light and they're just letting you know that they're there. So pay attention to that. If you're having nightmares, and there's no ease around your loss. Now, I know ease is kind of a strange word when we're grieving, but many times we can still, even when we're in deep sorrow and pain, feel a sense of ease around it and find some sort of resolution or peace around our own healing because their spirit is healed. Okay. Well, when they're not, we just stay very raw and very traumatized by losing them. And you'll know the difference. So if you have lost somebody quite a long time ago and you're still feeling that way, it's really important for you to get healing and to have that spirit crossed over. So again, if you want to learn the technique, you can learn it here in Setting Spirits Free. I also have another book called Death in the Afterlife. I do share the technique there because it's so important that we look after our loved ones that are on the other side. Okay. So how to clear a haunting. Again, I have it in the book. But I want to clarify, because there's a lot of people that think that burning sage is going to clear a haunting, or they think that just having an intention is going to clear a haunting, or, physical things, or kind of shamanistic things, or witchcraft things. They really mostly don't work. It requires a healer to be able to open the portal to the other side. Sometimes other forms of, let's say, magic can actually bind them or put them in the in-between, in different spiritual realm where they're not progressing, but they're not in the home anymore. We don't want that either, because that clogs up. If you can imagine, here's the earth plane and here's where we want to put them. If they're lingering somewhere in between, they're clogging it up, and not that many spirits can get to the light. Okay. So we want to put them in the light. So that's why it's important to learn this technique or hire a healer that can literally open that portal and send them right up to heaven. and then do the healing to the land or wherever there's trauma being held. It's very important to be able to clear those energies and neutralize them, especially in a haunted house where there's been a crime. You want to really work with that house energy and the land energy to reduce the trauma and to bring in the light again. So this can be a very effective healing with hauntings. Like I said, that especially with different traumatic deaths. So that's really important. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Okay, so all right. So, and you guys ask me your questions. Feel free to ask me. I have a list here of questions that I already got, but I'm happy to answer them live as well. So, okay. Here's a good one. Do spiritual artifacts help keep your home safe? Well, I can reference many houses that I did paranormal work in and healing in. And one of the first things that I would detect when I first walked into the home of houses that were really active were families that thought that hanging religious artifacts would help protect or clear the home. Okay. So what I mean by that is I'd get to a haunted house or one that we get called on to investigate to find out. And I would see like rosaries hanging on the wall, pinned to the wall everywhere, and pictures of Jesus and prayers on the windows and, all these different things, which tells me how much duress the homeowners were in. But it certainly didn't work. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep adding more and more. Okay. Again, that's why it's important to learn the technique and to actually just know that you can have authority, that you can tap into this, you can develop this gift within yourself and make sure that your home is always protected and safe. You have the right to do that, but you do have to learn some skills. When you're trying to speak with the spirit world, physically, they're a spiritual being and you're talking to them physically. They don't have to listen to a thing you say. So learning how to raise your vibration and access the spiritual realms and then working with them gives you the authority over them. Okay. So that's the game changer, is really raising your vibration and getting your spiritual connection first. Then you'll be able to be very effective, because otherwise items are just items, even if they're holy items. Which brings me, like, I'm actually wearing a St. Benedict medal today. And this is blessed and it's really powerful. So it's not just my belief in it, it's also been blessed. And it has a very powerful prayer on it that protects you from dark forces. It's got like the exorcism prayer in Latin on the back side of it. And it doesn't matter if you're Catholic or not Catholic. There are things like that, but make sure that they're blessed and that they're also cleared if you use them around any kind of dark energies. You don't want to bring it from there to somewhere else. So always, again, this would be a spiritual tool. So that should be cleared as well. Okay. And I'm kind of curious, like, how many of you guys listening right now are interested in working with the dead and crossing over? Because that's usually, I find that it's a passion. And I've taught classes and helped people develop their spiritual gifts for like so many years. And many people would come to me to learn certain techniques. And then once they heard EVPs that I had, they actually normally would have a very emotional reaction and become very passionate about doing the healing work and doing the crossing over. So I'm kind of curious to see how many of you guys out there feel that way. Oh, well, that's nice, Suzanne. Yeah, I mean, if you have the desire in your heart, you have a pure intent, it'll be very easy for you to learn the technique. It really will. And, you get better and better at it, the more you kind of do the work and keep your, I say, vessel, keep this clear, which just simply means keeping up with your own healing work, clearing resentments, not holding grudges, clearing up genetic trauma, genetic programming, socialization, group consciousness, all of those things. The more you can clear them, the more strong your light will be and the more powerful you will be working within the spiritual realms. So it does, everybody can learn it, but you'll be better and better at it the more healing you actually do to yourself, because you'll just be able to funnel and channel so much light, and you'll just be a powerhouse when you're working with the spirit world. Okay. Okay, so I have some questions, or yes, regarding, like, let's talk about demons for a minute, because a lot of times people think that they have a ghost in their home, and then they start to give that ghost energy. Because let's say, for instance, this is a common one, where somebody will have a child ghost and they'll be like, oh, it's just a child. Oh, you know what? And they'll buy them toys, and maybe they put plates of food out, or they talk to them frequently. They use their name, and they start to feed the energy, a lot of their energy. And then what happens eventually is they find out that it was not a ghost, it was a demon, and it tricked them. And then all of a sudden they're sick, their finances are going down the toilet, their relationship is in turmoil, and all these bad things are happening in their environment. Okay, that is how demons can trick you. So that's why we don't give attention to ghosts necessarily. We cross them over. Okay, now that doesn't mean we can't go to haunted locations. I, for one, love haunted locations. I love going to a ghost house, a haunted house. I love going to places that are active spiritually because it's in alignment with me. But when I do find ghosts that are stuck, I cross them over. If the house is going to be an active portal, it will draw healed spirits to it, or it will have caretakers, or it will have tulpas, which are technically hauntings without a soul. And so you're not worried about a soul being trapped there. There's many ways that hauntings can remain active and fun if people are researching, investigating, or experiencing hauntings without them being detrimental to a soul being trapped there. We just don't want to keep them here for our own entertainment. That's totally unethical. So we want to cross them over. And if it stays active and we know that there's not a soul trapped there, then that's fine. Maybe it's just an anomalous house, and we can learn a lot from that kind of environment. Maybe it's a house that many spirits that are already healed feel compelled to come back to continue to teach us more about the afterlife. That's fine too. But when you do find a spirit that's trapped, we do not want to investigate it time and time again. That's like poking sticks at it. And I always like to say, you know, what makes it more personal and more understandable, more compassion, is what if that was your loved one? You know, after my little sister died, I thought, well, I would be mortified if I knew that people were doing that at her grave or where she died. She was in an accident. That would make me so sad. You know, well, ghosts are people. They were people, and other people love them. They're someone's family. So think of them that way. It's not just a ghost story. It's a real person. So, you know, if you run across these ghosts in different places, if one speaks out to you or makes itself known to you, I would definitely say to cross it over. And again, you don't have to worry about going to a haunted property and clearing it, not having anybody be able to enjoy the haunted venue. You just know for sure that there's no soul trapped there. It could still be an active haunting without it being something that traps anybody. So I think that's really important to know if you're doing any kind of spiritual work or enjoying haunted venues. Okay, so the primary difference, if you're not sure about a demon or a ghost, is that demons are going to be destructive, while ghosts are going to just cause disturbances. Okay, there's a huge difference between disturbance and destruction. Disturbance is things are going bump in the night, someone's watching you, you know, things like that. Disturbance is filling your mind with hatred, making you angry at somebody, inciting conflict in the home, and then creating different things to go wrong in your life. That's what destruction is. So if those things are going on, you have something more serious. You definitely want to have a spiritual clearing done. I would actually say that, there's some people that really have a predisposition for it. Some of those things that invite that energy are going to be addictions of drugs, addictions of alcohol, addictions to sex, porn, any kind of addiction that has taken over you and you're just not feeling like you're in integrity with yourself. Those are energies that need to be cleared in order for you to heal and just be in a self-love vibration. So those types of things. Also, if you lies lower your vibration. If you cheat, you lower your vibration. Those are things that make you susceptible. It's like an invitation for demons to come into your life. So we always want to maintain as much integrity and truth in our life as possible, as humanly possible. Speak from your heart, speak the truth, just be authentic, be who you are. Speak up for yourself. If you do things and you don't feel guilt about it, and it's like you don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to walk around with shame and guilt. If you are feeling shame and guilt, then you already know that's kind of like your own radar telling you that that is not an integrity with who you are. If you do something and you feel fine with it, then that's fine. In your own belief system, that's fine. But if you do feel shame and guilt, then you know you're coming out of alignment, and that's what makes you susceptible. So you just want to kind of look at those things. For many, many years, I worked with paranormal groups. I had my own group actually called Paranormal Rescue, and we would actually go to haunted places and clean them. Basically, we would clear the demons, cross over the ghosts, clear the trauma off the land. And that was what we specialized in. And I only worked with, my team members who were trained by me and had certifications for all these things. So we would go out and we get hired by owners of all kinds of different businesses and other paranormal teams or other mediums when they hit a hot spot and they're like, oh no, I don't do that. Or many people are afraid of it. It's like, well, okay, we're trained for that. We know how to handle that energy and we don't have fear. So we would go in and we'd be like the cleaning crew. We'd come in and do a clean sweep spiritually and reset the location so that it was more healthy and hospitable again. So you definitely want to get some training if that's of interest to you. And I do have courses online. I used to travel all over and teach it in person, but I don't do that anymore. You can go to my spiritual academy. All the links are below my video. For that in particular, my paranormal rescue medium is the course that you would want to take that will teach you different techniques to work with those energies. If you're interested in developing your mediumship, then I would take Master Your Mediumship. And I uploaded a new one last year, about a year ago now, so that you can actually develop your spiritual sight. So that's Mediumship Scribe. I also have a book on it that's on Amazon, but I like the course online because it'll literally just show you, and I have people demonstrating it, and you have some downloadable material. It's very easy to learn, but most people don't know about it. It's a specific way to scry so that you see loved ones. So that's really cool. So that's all in my spiritual academy. I have all the tools to help you guys develop your confidence and your clarity in working with the spirit world and knowing that you're always safe doing it, and also that you're serving humanity whenever you're doing your clearings. Okay. Oh, awesome. You guys, that's so great. Oh, thank you very much. I know my sister, she's one of my guardians, of course she is. She's just a good soul and is a good soul. Beautiful, beautiful person. And I love when she comes around because she's just like, has this like really kind of mellow vibe and just really loving and kind. Now I'm like way more bubbly than her. She just kind of soothes me when she comes around. Very, very nice energy. So she visits a lot. Okay. We also talked about, let's just quickly, like with Ouija boards and stuff like that, does that invite demons? Well, no, not necessarily. Again, it's what you put out there as an intention and how you're using it. So it's, and I always say this is the easiest way to say it. If you're online dating and you just go on there and say, hey, everybody, I'm open for business. Come on over to my house. You're going to get so many freaks and so many dangerous people coming over because you don't have any discernment. Using a Ouija board or spirit board is the same exact thing. Have your intention, know that you're doing sacred spiritual work, and only invite in your loved one. And then after your session, you're going to close down the portal and do a blessing and clear it. And then you'll be totally fine using that device. I had one. It was beautiful. My daughter actually painted it for me on a old-fashioned antique round table. And she did the letters and numbers, and then she painted a beautiful picture of Archangel Michael in the middle. And then we just blessed the table, and it was super, super powerful. In fact, every time we had our fingers on the planchette, it would go around the outside of the table. And we were like, oh, 20 minutes later, our hands were still going around. It was so active. So when we moved across country, I sold it to somebody locally. So I hope they're still using it and receiving a lot of blessed communication. But yeah, you can make your own, or you can buy one. Just bless it. You can put holy water on it, frankincense oil. You can burn sage on it, put crystals on it, activate the board with your own energy and intention, and then always use it in a sacred way, which is to have authentic spirit communication with your loved one. And then again, like I said, close it down at the end and do a clearing. And then you can pack it up and put it away. And next time you bring it out, it'll be ready and open for you to use again. I know when you use these simple tools, you can really strengthen your connection with the other side. And it really makes conversing with your loved ones easy. And even with the spirit box. My personal favorite is the SB7. I love that device. It works really, really well for me. I've had the fancier ones, and I love it because it's so simple. It's always effective, and I always keep it clear, right? So I use it, and then I clear it off, but I use it all the time. I even use it at home sometimes just to talk with my loved ones. It's like a telephone. So when I don't want to use my mind and I just want to hear their voice, I'll do it that way. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Somebody asked me if churches are haunted. And I did briefly mention that earlier, that like after a loved one dies and they're in that time before they cross over, they could get stuck somewhere. Yes, that church is one of the places that they'll be at normally during this time frame, because they'll usually have their funeral at a church. However, many churches are super haunted because they have a cemetery outside of them, especially the older churches. When you have a parish, like an old country parish, and you see it all the time in the farmland. I'm from Minnesota. So Minnesota, Wisconsin, there's like tons of churches with cemeteries right next to them. Those are going to be very active. And they should be cleared because those spirits are just kind of wandering back and forth. And I mean, ghost, yes, they'll also have spirits, and the spirits are not stuck. They're not trapped. They're just visiting because that was probably something that they felt very strongly about. They're probably very tied to their religion, and the people in the congregation, maybe they were like the second family to them. So those kind of spirit visits are fine. But what I'm talking about right now is ghosts that are stuck at the cemetery or at the church. Okay. There's going to be a lot of that. So churches actually need to be cleared and should be cleared quite often, especially when you think about all their congregation coming that are in some level of suffering or loss or addiction. And that's usually what drives people to religion, right? So they're bringing all of these things, and those energies are sometimes coming off in the church or jumping onto somebody else, or they have loved ones that are coming in and getting stuck there. So we want to really be mindful that even though church is a sacred place, yes, and at the same time, they're often very haunted. So we do want to do clearing around the churches. What most ghosts say, in fact, nearly every ghost that I've encountered, help me, please help me, is what they say. I have so many EVPs, you know, and I got involved with the paranormal about 20 years ago. And I'd go into these locations and I was like, okay, well, turn on my spirit box, my recorder. I would feel the energy. Of course, it feels like an energy that's unhealed. But then when you start to get the evidence and it just piles up over the years, that's what they want. They don't want you to bring them gifts or make them dinner or make them part of your family. They want help. They really, truly want help because they cannot cross over without you. When they're a ghost, they've lost that ability. They're magnetized. They can't get through the grid. It's closed. They're earthbound. They need a healer to open this and cross them over. When I do that, which of course that's the bulk of my work, I get them also speaking through the devices as they're leaving. Sometimes you'll feel a gush of air go by you. Sometimes you get goosebumps. Sometimes you just feel a really warm energy in your heart. It's different every time, but what is consistent is what they say. And they say, I love you, thank you, and goodbye. And sometimes we hear goodbye in like hundreds of voices, you know, depending on the size of a building or location that we're clearing. It might be like, I love you, bye-bye, bye, goodbye, goodbye, you know, and we're like, oh my God, I didn't even know there were so many in here. And then they all go and then it's like brighter, literally brighter. The light fills the area. It feels happier. Yeah, it's quite amazing. So yeah, if you guys are called to that, I have so many resources for you. Yeah, my books will help you. My courses will help you. My spiritual academy, all the links for everything is always going to be below my video. If you are somebody that's grieving and you want to have a session with me, I do private sessions. You can go to www.dianapalm.com. I also have my Reconnect program where I work with you for 9 weeks through the most delicate and crucial part of your healing journey. And I also have my Grief Ease program, which is a self-guided program that delivers like 9 spiritual lessons and 9 assignments to help you through that same time frame. So this is my life's work. This is what I do full time. It's what I've always done. So you'll see that all my books and programs and healing is all centered around the same thing. It's about healing the human heart and healing a person to live the happiest life possible so they don't get stuck as a ghost. And if they do, then we want to heal them there. And then that, I know, helps heal all their loved ones. And then that raises the vibration on earth. So it's pretty powerful work. So yeah, definitely check out my links if that calls to you. I think that's about it, you guys, unless you have some questions. I'm going to check right here. Okay, it looks like if you have any questions, type them right now so I don't skip you. And I'm just going to go through this real quick to make sure, because there's a whole bunch of comments. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, Shayna made it. Hi, Shayna. Thank you. Oh, are animal spirits different from human spirits when they pass on, or are they just spiritual energies? Thank you. That's a great question, Shayna. So yeah, I even wrote about it in Setting Spirits Free. I was living in a big Victorian mansion in Menominee, Wisconsin, and there were some ghost cats there. Very unique, and they really wanted to make themselves known to me. And they'd actually like walk through a wall, or you go to pet them and the hand would go through them. And they were trying to make contact with us. Well, we were cat lovers and we did have cats, but these were ghost cats. So that was the first time I really started experiencing them. But now over the years, I have a huge, huge pet loss grief support. And through that, I've interacted with so many people that experience pet loss. So here's what you need to know about this. It's a little bit different. Humans have death doors that are predetermined. Pets are actually so connected to their owners that they can see what's coming up in their owners. I'll say owner, but you know, their family. they can see what's happening in their family's life. They anticipate changes, and they kind of view things through what's best for their family or their one specific owner. And that's how they select when it's time to go. So people always tell me things like, oh, I wasn't there, or oh, I had to put them down and it was terrible. It was too soon, or they were too young, or I feel guilty. A lot of people that have to put their pets down feel so much grief, and they just feel like it's such a big responsibility and always wonder if it was too soon, and they carry a lot of guilt for it. And I want to let you know it's not. Your animal chose it. Okay, no matter how they died, if it was an accident or an old age or a sickness or injury, it's okay. They're so wise, and they select it based on all these other components around them. And not only that, but even though they act full of anxiety, like when they go to the vet and you have to euthanize them if they're very sick and something's going on, they will get anxious because they're smelling other animals, but it's not because they're dying. Okay, not because they're going to die. That's not what they feel anxiety about. It's the smells, it's the, everything that's going on around them. But what I have seen time and time and time again is they will beat you home. You'll still be on the floor of the vet's office crying your eyes out, and your pet has already left their body and they're back at home waiting for you. And when you come home sad, they don't understand, because they're like, I'm right here, mommy. I'm right here. Like, why are you so sad? I'm right here. And then they don't understand that gap, why you don't see them. So whenever I'm working with people that have lost pets, it's really, really important to know that for them, it's just a decision. Boom, I'm out of my physical body. I'm no longer in pain. But they very much feel like they're still alive, that they're in your life. They will follow you around. It's not uncommon at all to do a reading with somebody, and all of a sudden I'll see pets they had when they were children. Those pets are still with you. Okay, they will be there in heaven when you cross over. All your pets you've ever loved will be there. But more importantly, they're usually connected to you here like spiritual guardians. So that's really good to know. And they do not suffer, even if it looks like they're suffering. The only pain they have is when they're in physical pain before they die. But boom, as soon as they leave their body, they're free, they're young, they're happy, they're like licking your face, they're snuggling with you in bed. So it's really common to actually have visits from them, have them moving toys around, and things like that. So yeah, it's heartwarming. And a couple years ago, I lost 2 cats in the same year. It was devastating. Shortly before that, I had to put my dog down. And so I still go through the grief just like all of you guys do, even though I connect with them. And those are actually the things that make me heal better. So like the day after I put my dog Dexter down, I heard his little bell on his collar, and then I saw it in an image, and he was visiting me right away. My daughter didn't have a visit from him for like a year later. But having a spiritual visit, having an afterlife visit, or even a sign or symbol is what helps you heal your grief. It helps reconnect you so that you don't feel the severing of that loss. It just helps us reclaim our ability to connect with them, because they are already there. They haven't gone anywhere. So thank you so much, Shana. That was a wonderful question, and I hope I answered that well for you. And what I see also, I just want to mention this, a lot of times, like let's say a German Shepherd or dog breeds, they will tend to show me their heaven with other similar animals around them. So animals in the wild have a group consciousness, a collective consciousness. They become independent when a human loves them, and they leave the group consciousness of their animal breed, and then they become part of your family, and they love the human. And there's something so special that ignites different things with that particular pet. And that's why they read everything about you. They absorb your illnesses. They love you. They're unconditional. They serve a higher purpose, and everything about them coming into your life and also exiting your life is purposeful. So when we love animals, they become very magical, and it's like we help them evolve because of our connection and our love with them. So, okay, guys. All right, I think I got you all. You guys, I just want to thank you so much. It was so much fun to hang out with you tonight on Halloween. I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope you're never scared of a ghost again. But I do encourage you to do fun things like ghost tours, and it's good for the history, and also it's a good way to find out if there are some souls there that you could potentially help. Um, and just know that you're not going to ruin a haunted venue for somebody just by clearing a ghost. It will still become active, especially because, so I'm going to go into this for just a second. A tulpa is created through belief system. It is not a soul that's trapped. So let's take a haunted house, for instance. If I were to go to a haunted house and clear the actual souls that are trapped there and cross them over and send them back to God and make sure they're completely healed, that house will not be haunted with souls, but it may still have unusual activity because so many people, their mindset and their belief system believe that it's haunted, that many same things will happen, like a recording, although it seems intelligent, but it's fed by the psychic energy of the people that believe it's haunted. Okay. So there's a big discernment there. And those kind of places are fine because you at least know there's no soul that's stuck, but they're still okay. They can still have people experience a haunted venue. You're not going to ruin someone's business by helping a soul that's trapped. So on that note, I think it's a good time to say goodnight. And I want to thank you all so much for being here. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Bye-bye.